Okie dokie. So we're going to be starting lying down on your back. Just have your strap in reach of you, just for hammies in a little bit. Having your knees bent, your feet to the floor, and then take your knees about, your feet about as wide as your mat is, so that your knees can rest into each other, if that feels comfortable too. Place the hands onto the lower abdomen, just between the hip bones and the pubic bone. So around that space is your inguinal ligament, which is responsible for that deepest part of your breath. So just start to bring the breath right down into that space so that you feel the hands moving with your breath. And just notice now that you've been here just for a couple of breaths, if you can soften any tension that maybe you're holding around the shoulders, the jaw, or the forehead. Allowing your body to transition into the practice, this nice slow yin practice this evening. Bringing that slower pace of breath, where maybe the exhalation can be a little bit longer than your inhale. You start to bring the nervous system into that parasympathetic side, which is more to your rest and digest side, as opposed to the fight or flight. Allow there to be a gentle pause between your inhale and exhale, where there's not, but it's just that moment of allowing the breath to float between the transition. Allow the weight of your pelvis to feel really heavy into the ground. So with the knees resting into each other, I call this kind of a constructive rest. It's a really nice way to open out those sort of more subtle ligaments around the pelvis to release pressure through lower back. Just giving this another couple of breaths. Gently from here, just lift the knees up apart from each other. Bring the arms out to the sides of the body, just gently. And then allow both knees to come over to the right into a twist. You can bring this into any variation of a twist that you want to. If your knees feel more comfortable to have a cushion between the knees, then try that if you wish to, if this brings any sort of pressure to the back or the knees. Feel free to, after a couple of breaths, adjust your twist. You might want to soften it slightly, or maybe deepen in with a deeper tuck around of the knees, or maybe one hand anchoring the thighs down. See where the body can find more space as you kind of settle into the asana. Acknowledging where you feel the breath. Can you still direct it into that inguinal ligament right at the base of the torso? From here, we're just going to bring your top leg, so your left leg, around behind you into the quad stretch. So your left hand can grab hold of that left ankle and then tuck the foot around behind you. So you're going to open that left knee out a little bit. So the knee can then reach forwards and down towards the floor. So your thigh is coming straight down from the hip to the knee. As you exhale, just very gently try to tuck the tailbone so you feel your lower back draw towards the ground. It absolutely will be lifted because you have a pelvis in the way. Just think about drawing it down. And each time you're exhaling fully and deeply, think about the abdominals pulling down towards the center of the spine, as though the abdominals are reaching away from that left leg. You can use your hands if you want to, just to guide the belly down on the exhale, and maybe just stroking that front line of the hip as well. So you just use your fingers to lengthen that top line of the tissue and massaging into it a little. Staying where you are, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, gently release the knees back up to the center. So any way that feels best to bring that knee back through. Give the leg a stretch out if you need to, and just realign your spine back into the center. So we start with the twist with the knees dropping down towards the left. Again, just bring yourself into any place with that twist that feels good. Again, if you want to try the cushion between your knees just to kind of align the bones of the legs, try that if you wish to. And feel free again after a couple of breaths to slightly readjust yourself if you feel your body can go a little bit softer into it. To work into the space that your body kind of offers you after a few breaths. From here, we're going to come into the quad stretch. So taking your top leg, your right one, into the right hand, and then tuck the foot around behind you. So that right knee is pointing towards the end of the mat. The knee reaching forwards and down. So you feel that opening around the right thigh and hip flexor. Gently, as you're exhaling, try to bring the back that little nudge closer to the ground. It might not be a physical movement, just more of the sensation of it. And again, if it helps to use the hands to guide the abdominals down away from the thigh or massage through that hip flexor, feel free to get in there with a bit of massage. Take a breath in where you are. As you exhale, gently bringing both knees back up to the center. Again, give that right knee a stretch out if we need to. Bring both knees in towards your chest from there. Just hug the legs in towards your body. Always try and get as much compression of the thighs against the abdomen as you can. So just creating a little bit of compression there. Take a gentle rock side to side, just massaging your back into the ground, giving yourself a bit of a hug. And then bringing both feet to the ground. You're going to take the hamstring stretch on your right leg. If you wish to use a strap, then you can place your foot into the middle of the strap. If you wish not to use a strap or you don't have one, that's fine. You take the hands either around the back of the thigh or use the peace fingers to grab hold of the big toe. Wherever you want to be is fine. Just finding that stretch around the back of the leg. So if you have the strap, try to wrap one hand either side of it if you can, so that the elbows can just relax down to your waist. The shoulders can drop back to the floor. Arms completely relaxed. Maybe the left leg can just lengthen a little bit further away from you or fully straight if that's okay with your back. Keep just a micro bend in that knee, so there's no sense of forcing into the back of the leg. Make sure the knee is facing towards the right side of your chest. The thigh is drawing towards the torso, so maybe there's a little more bend in the knee if you need to. And then just a gentle flexing of the foot, so just guide the toes to curl back towards you slightly. And then deepening the breath again, feel the movement into that lower space of the abdomen. Notice if after a couple of breaths, there's maybe a little bit of warmth coming into the muscle or a little sense of release. Maybe you're tingling through the foot as you bring that circulation to flush through. Becoming aware of the sensations of the pose. From here, just a subtle change with the leg. I know this is some of you your favorite stretch to do. Bringing in some more of the IT band. So you're going to keep your pelvis flat to the ground. If your left leg is bent, I'm going to ask you to straighten it out now if it isn't already. Just guide your ankle towards the left shoulder. So as though the leg is coming diagonally across the body. You can change the hold of your strap or the hold of your leg as you need to. If you have still the strap either side, with one hand either side of it, keep pulling the elbows towards the floor. So you're like a reins on a horse. You keep that right elbow drawing down so you feel the sole of the foot flex flat towards the ceiling. Try to keep that right side of your bum to the ground. Press the foot up into the strap, sole of the foot parallel with the line of the ceiling. So you may feel your foot is slightly sickled at the ankle. Still try to curl the big toe back towards you. And relax any scrunching up of your eyebrows this has made you do. From here, again, you can change the strap as you need to. You may want to take both sides of your strap into your left hand, so that then let that right side of your bum leave the ground, so come all the way over into more of a twist. Keeping the leg straightening out, so the foot is just hovering above the ground. So support it with that left hand or with the strap. Allowing that right side of the pelvis to roll up, so you're back in the twist. Trying to keep both shoulders to the ground. So reach the right arm out to the side of you. Try and keep that one heavy. Full deep breaths. If it's feeling pretty spicy, deepen your exhalation a little bit more. Take a breath in where you are. As you exhale, soft bend into the knee. Gently bring yourself back onto your back again. Release the strap away from the foot, coming into figure of 4 from here. So bend the left knee, and then place the right ankle, so staying with this right leg, onto the left thigh. Take a gentle rock side to side there. Keep it small to start with, just let your back kind of reset after that deeper twist. And then holding center, thread the hands through to pull in your left thigh towards you. So using your right elbow, press the knee open if it meets. Gentle bit of pressure between the ankle and your thigh. And then try to draw the tailbone into the ground and draw the shoulders back to the floor. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, untangle the legs so that right foot comes to the ground. You can keep the left leg with you, so we're going to take that sequence onto the left side. So again, go using the strap, take the foot into the middle of your strap. And lift the heel towards the ceiling. Hands wrap around it so that the arms can relax down to the sides of the body. And a little bend into that knee. Your right leg can stay where it is or lengthen straight out away from you, you decide. Keeping that left knee facing the left side of your chest, so it's neither turned out or rolling in. Just keep it parallel. Micro bend into the knee and think about the thigh trying to come closer towards the torso. And gently curl the big toe back towards you. Acknowledging maybe any differences one side to the other. Again, noticing after a couple of breaths, what sensations start to change in the pose. Maybe a warmth or a lightness or maybe a cooling of the leg. There's no right or wrong with it, just be aware. From here, we come into that just gentle change into the IT band stretch. So bring your ankle to reach towards your right shoulder. Pull down through the left arm a little bit. So the sole of the foot naturally kind of guides to face up to the ceiling. And there can still be that micro bend in the knee. And try to keep the left side of your bum onto the ground. Press up into the strap. So you have that two-way energy line running through the leg. If it isn't already, then try to straighten out that right leg in front of you. That's it. If you're in the place where it feels fairly horrendous, you're in the right place. Try to soften into it where you can. Take a deeper couple of breaths. And then from there we go the full way into the twist. So you may want to take both sides of the strap into your right hand with the elbow coming to the floor. Allow the left side of your pelvis to roll up so you're back into the twist. with the foot extending out to the right. Keep the left shoulder rooted, so allow the left arm to relax out to the side. Gently flexing the foot, maybe having to deepen the breath to find some ease through it. Staying where you are, take a big breath in. As you exhale, soft bend into the knee, gently bring that leg back to center. Release the strap, and we come into the figure of 4. So rebend the right leg to rest the left ankle on top of the thigh. So take a gentle rocking side to side, again, just to soften into the back again. And then thread the hands through. So you pull in the right thigh, use the left elbow to keep that left knee pressing open. Gentle bit of pressure between the ankle and your right thigh. And then press the tailbone into the floor. Draw the shoulders back, lengthen through the back of the neck. Deepen into the breath. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, gently release both feet to the floor. Just give the knees a gentle rock side to side again, softening that out. From here, we're going to come into happy baby. So bring the knees in towards your chest. The elbows come into the inside of the knees, and then reach the hands to grab hold of the shoelace bit of your feet. They don't quite reach the feet, grab hold of the ankles or the shins. So your fingers are wrapping around, if you have the feet, wrapping around the little toe edge of your feet. The elbows on the inside of the knees. Use the elbows to press the knees out, and then use your fingers to keep the feet flexed and pulling down. Trying to draw the tailbone towards the ground, so we try to maintain that flat line of your spine. Right from the tailbone into the back of the head. So think about the back of the neck lengthening into that too. If it's feeling any strain through your neck, then maybe place a cushion under your head if that's more comfortable. Keep the right leg as you have it. So try not to let that one move. Take your time, send the left foot back to the floor, the left arm back behind you. And then over a couple of breaths, see if that left leg can straighten all the way out and rest down to the floor. Maintaining that right leg in the happy baby position. Take another full breath in. As you exhale, keep the right leg where it is. Just gently start to bring the left side back into happy baby. Press that left knee open, keep the foot gently flexed. Take your time, release the right foot to the floor, the right arm back behind you, and start to lengthen that right leg out. So it might need to move a little bit slow. Deep, full breath. Particularly in these more restorative practices, you might notice the more sort of gurgling through the stomach or through the organs. And it's a sign of your nervous system balancing back into a rest and digest side. So if you notice gurgling through your belly, it's a good sign. Take another full breath in where you are. Gently use the exhale to bring the right knee back in towards your body. Release the left one, so you're just hugging both legs in towards you. Take a little rock side to side, while knees round in circles, any kind of movement that helps massage your back. And then gently roll yourself to one side, or take a gentle rock through to seated, any way that feels best to get there. You're going to come into a cross-legged position. So if you want to be sat onto blocks or onto a cushion or anything, then do have something handy. I actually do have something handy to sit on in a second. We're going to change the legs up a little bit in a sec, and have your strap handy as well for the next arm balance. Okay. So for now, just bringing the hands either to the legs or resting to the sides of the body. Find some height through the spine, like you're being pulled from the crown of the head towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, just drop the head towards the left shoulder. Walk the right fingertips out away from you. Try to keep the fingertips to the floor if they reach. Just finding the release through the neck. So keep the head of the right shoulder just nudging back a little, so you're not hunching it forwards. Relax from the hinge of the jaw. If this is feeling enough for the side of the neck, please do stay where you are. Be very sensitive with any adjustments to the neck. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, just place it the left palm on top of the side of the head there. So you're just gently using the fingers not to pull down, but just guide the hairline away from the neck towards the crown of the head. Just creating a bit more length through the side of the neck, like you're drawing your ear towards your hair. Jaw relaxed. The rest of the spine stays nice and tall. And breathe in a way that feels really soothing to your neck. If you have the left hand on the head, just gently release that and bring that left palm underneath your face so that you use the left hand to completely lift the weight of the head back up again. So you don't have to contract the side of the neck to lift you. Good, then replace the left hand. Drop the head gently towards the right shoulder. Walk the left fingertips away from you and keep the head of the left shoulder open. The rest of the spine nice and tall. Relaxing the hinge of the jaw. Relax the muscles of the face. Again, this side of the neck might feel enough where it is. If you want to add in a little bit more, then place the right hand lightly to the side of the head and just guiding your ear away from the neck towards the hairline. And use the breath to bring that sense of nourishment to the release of the muscle. Gently bring that right palm to the underneath side of your head and use the hand to completely lift the whole weight of your head back up again. Good. Just give the shoulders a roll down your back. So from here, you might want to sit onto a cushion. We're going to come into the Gomukhasana legs. So your right knee is ideally going to stack on top of the left one. I'll give you a couple of options. So either right knee on top of left. If that's a bit too much for the hips, then popping yourself on a cushion is going to ease them a little. If that's still not happy with knees or hips, then come into cross-legged with the right leg in front. Okay. Good. So Kim, see if you can tuck the heels around towards your hips a little so that knee comes on top of the other one. Good, without force, just comes where it wants to come to. Good. Lifting up as tall as you can through your spine. I should have said to you to grab your strap already. You might be a bit tangled up to grab it. If you have your strap, then grab hold of it. And you want the strap in your left hand. So drop that left hand down your back, so you dangle the strap down. The hand is round to the base of the neck. Your right hand is going to spin around and grab hold of the strap. Walk your fingers towards each other. Some of you may not need the strap if your fingers can interlace, you can let the strap go. Otherwise, just grabbing the strap wherever the hands can reach, that's perfect. See if you can rest your head into the forearm that's behind it. And then use the top elbow to reach further up, so you bring a little bit more height and straightness through your spine. If it feels too much for your underneath shoulder, you can just release the underneath hand or release the arms altogether if it's too strong. If there's room to deepen into the hips, keep the flat back feelings. Your spine stays long, but just hinge from the hips so the breastbone comes towards the top knee. Keep the head against the forearm, so you're not pulling the head down, just leaning the body forwards. Good. Big full breaths. Big tailbone reaching back behind you, so you keep that flat line of the spine. Couple more deep breaths. Gently lift your spine back up straight again. Again, move slowly. Just unravel your arms. Give the shoulders time to move. Good. Give the shoulders a little roll out. Then we're just going to take a side stretch into the legs here as well. So if your legs can stay where they are, then keep them there. You're going to take the, which way will we go? The left hand out to the side of you, your right arm lifting up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, lean across towards the left. So if you can bring the left forearm towards the floor, allow yourself to really sit into that left arm. Think about the top knee pressing down into the underneath ones. There's a little bit of strength through the legs. Not going to hold here too long, so just take one more big full breath. Slowly roll forward slightly to bring yourself back up straight. Take your time to unravel the legs. They might need a little bit of TLC as you move them. Give them a little wiggle out in the middle. And then switching sides with that Gomukhasana, so the left knee is stacking on top of the right one if we can. So again, if it's too tricky for knees or for hips, you can just cross the legs with the left leg in front. That's more comfortable. Perfect. Again, if sat on cushions feels better this side. One side often feels different to the other, so take any variations you need. The strap is in your right hand if we need it, and just drop the right hand down your back. The left arm comes around behind you to grab hold of it and walk the hands up until maybe they meet. If they do meet this side, then release the strap if you want to. One side again might feel completely different to the other with the shoulders. If it's too much with the arms, release one of them or both of them. Feeling good there, then try to rest the head into the forearm behind you so that you guide a little bit more strength and height through your back. Almost as though the hands, if they are clasped particularly, are pressing between the shoulder blades to press the front of the heart space open. Feel the breath move into the chest. Again, if there is room to deepen, then just begin to gently, over time, hinge the breastbone towards the top knee. Keep the tailbone reaching back. Release any feeling of ego of where you think you should be or want to get to. Let's move into the feeling of it. Taking a last couple of breaths. Gently begin to bring your body back up straight. Take your time to unravel the arms, place the strap to one side, unravel the legs so they come out in front of you and give the legs a bit of a wiggle in and out. Good stuff. So keeping the legs straight. If you're sat onto a cushion, stay where you are. We're going to take a fold over the legs. If you'd rather use your strap here, then use your strap. Otherwise, we're just letting the body kind of drop over the legs wherever it comes to. So just bring the hands either to your strap or to the sides of the legs and guide from the breastbone to start with, but I don't mind if there's a rounding through your spine. If you have bricks or cushions, you can also place them on top of your legs, so you create a pillow for your head to rest onto. Good. Take out any feeling of forcing or pulling from the shoulders. So if you're not using the strap, take the hands underneath your calf muscles or underneath the heels of the feet or something. So the shoulders can just drop. It doesn't matter where you come to, you're just allowing the back to open, the hamstrings to lengthen. Really try to relax the weight of your head. So it's going to help stretch out the back as well and all the fascia through there. Focusing the breath so that you physically feel your back move as you breathe. So like your breath is stretching you from the inside out. If you're feeling a tightness or intensity around your back and neck, you might feel as you breathe in that feeling kind of intensifies a little bit. But notice as you exhale if you can soften some of it away. Allow yourself to surrender into it a little bit more with each breath. Last couple of breaths. Gently take your time, lifting the spine back up straight again. Just allow the hands to rest back behind you. Just let your weight kind of drop back into the hands just to reopen the front of the body or reset the back. Have a wriggle into it if it needs to. From here, you're going to roll over onto your front, so however feels best to kind of get there. the elbows underneath your shoulders. So starting with more of a Sphinx pose. So forearms to the ground, pressing the legs into the floor, and then press through the elbows so the chest pops up. Nose is just facing forwards. Just after those folds, kind of giving your spine a bit of flexion. Keep the pubic bone pressing lightly into the floor. If it feels too much for your back after that fold, just come softer into it, give your hips a bit of a wriggle, just stay flat for a couple of breaths if you want to. So for a yin posture, this is actually fairly more of an active pose. The arms staying strong, but your spine is getting this good flexion. So breathing into it again. Feel the belly and the ribs move with the breath. Take another breath in. As you exhale, take the elbows wide. Allow yourself to roll forwards and down. We come into more of a tree pose. So your right leg, the knee is going to slide out towards the side. Keep the toes tucking in towards the other thigh to start with. So you can use your hand to help you if you need to. Tuck the knee as high up towards your waist as you can. I'm going to bring you around. Think about as much of the inner thigh coming towards the ground as you can squeeze down. Each time you exhale, try and draw the abdominals up away from the floor towards the spine. Very slightly tucking the tailbone. Yeah. So just a slight alteration with the pose. You're just going to let your foot come further open in line with the knees. It's more in that sort of half frog position. So create a right angle with that leg. Good. See if the knee can maybe tuck around up towards your waist a little nudge further. That's it. Flex the foot gently so the toes are pointing out to the side. And then try to reach your knee further away from you so more of that inner thigh is coming towards the ground. Again, pretty unlikely that you'll have it flat to the floor because of bone. Have a sense of it guiding down. Take another full breath where you are. So again, slight alteration with this same leg. Again, use the hand to help you if you need to. You're going to wriggle the foot further out to the side so the leg comes more straight. So you want the foot to be at least in line with your hip if you can, or further up towards the shoulder, if that's available. Good. Then try to roll the sole of your foot into the floor. So that little toe edge of your foot comes to the ground. Should be feeling that towards inner thigh. Just gently, if it makes sense to you, pull up the knees so the quads, your thigh feels quite active. That should bring a little bit more release towards the inner thigh. If that feels too much, you can just let the leg relax and kind of flop to the ground where it is. The last couple of breaths where you are. Slowly, kind of reverse the way you came. So bend the knees, you bring the leg back to that right angle, back through that tree pose, and then slide the leg back so the knees come back in line. Take a moment in a nice flat position, let the hips resettle into the body. Tuck the elbows back under the shoulders so you come back into your Sphinx pose again. So bring the elbows under, the forearms out in front of you, and lifting the chest, pressing into elbows. Reaching the toes as far to that back of the mat as you can. And press the pubic bone into the floor as though your exhales are trying to scoop the belly away from the mat. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, take the elbows wide, roll the chest down to the floor. And take that sequence to the other side. So your left leg is going to come round into your tree pose. That's been nice. Big toe kind of connecting into the inner thigh to start with. Allow the hands to become a pillow for your head to rest onto. And trying to draw the inner thigh towards the ground. Slightly just changing the angle, so your heel is going to come open, so you create a right angle with the leg. Maybe tuck the knee up towards your waist, just another little nudge. And think about the knee reaching out to the side away from you, so you guide the inner thigh towards the floor. Take a full breath. From there, again, use the left hand to help you, but it feels easier. Lengthen the leg out to the side, the heel at least in line with the hip, maybe further towards your shoulders if it comes. And then think rolling the little toe edge in towards the floor. Sole of the foot comes towards the ground. So keep your toes pointing up towards the wall your head is facing. And slightly activating the thigh, so pull the knee up. Try to sense more of the inner thigh lengthening. The leg will probably not be touching the floor because you have your foot flexed. You're in a place where you feel the inner thigh stretched, then you're in the right place. Last couple of breaths. And then begin to reverse the leg the way you came. So bend the knee, come through that right angle, bring the leg towards your leg, slide it away and just come flat to the ground just for a breath. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Take your time to press back up into all fours and fold into child's pose, just to lengthen out that lower back again after that deep opening. Arms wherever they feel good to be, out in front or under the head, down the sides of the legs. From here, gently roll yourself up into a kneeling position. Have a cushion or a brick or something just in front of you. So come into a rabbit pose. You're going to tuck your toes underneath, reach the hands around to grab hold of your heels, and then draw the shoulders forwards, tuck your chin towards your chest, lift the hips up away from the feet, but keep hold of your feet. So your arms lengthen, and you bring the forehead down towards your cushion or your block. You may not need it there. It may be hovering and feeling fine, or your head may lightly find the floor. It's okay if the toes lift up. The back opening round, as round as you can for your spine. If it feels too strong to hold onto the feet, just let the hands find the ground instead. Really try to tuck your chin towards your chest, so the back of your neck feels really open. The shoulder blades are as rounded as you can, so think spine pressing up towards the ceiling. Take another big breath where you are. Feel the breath stretch into your back. And gently take your time, bring yourself back into that kneeling position again. Straighten up the spine. Good. Give the shoulders a little wriggle out. You may want to come sideways onto your mat now, just so your knees have the padding. You're going to come into a full frog position. So starting with the knees wide, that your feet come open as wide as your knees are, and then drop onto the forearms like you did with that Sphinx pose. Good. Slight pulling up of the lower abdomen, so we're not back bending into it. So try to maintain a straight line through the spine. Good. After a couple of breaths, if there's room to deepen, see if your knees can either go wider or your hips press further back towards the heels. Yeah. Turn the feet so your toes are facing the sides of the room, so flexing the feet out. Good. Focusing the breath to move right into that lower space of the abdomen, that inguinal ligament again. So as you exhale, you pull up the abdomen, scooping the pelvic floor to create more support or decompression to that internal side of your spine, the pelvis. I feel like some of you may be swearing under your breath a little bit at this one, which is fine. If it helps you release, then let it come out. Give about another 5 breaths. Last 2 breaths. So to come out of this pose, rock your weight forwards, bring the feet closer together, press into the elbows to scoop the knees in towards each other, and fold back into your child's pose again with the legs close. Roll up in towards a kneeling position. Drop the hips down to one side of your feet and sweep the legs around in front of you again. However feels best to get there, come onto your back with the knees in towards your chest. Take a rock side to side. And keep the knees together. Just bring your hands onto your kneecaps and then circle the knees around a few times one way so they go in the same directions. Keep the knees together. And then around the other direction, just massaging the sacrum into the floor. And allow the feet to come to the ground, gently rocking the knees from side to side. And when you feel ready to, bring yourself into a Shavasana with any variation you wish to come into. So maybe out flat, just so we open through the front of your hips again after all the folding and twisting of them. Or as we started the practice in that constructive rest pose with the knees resting inwards, it's also going to counterbalance all the opening through the inner thighs. So again, just tuning into wherever your body kind of wants you to be. Hands either resting to the sides or onto the lower abdomen. Take a really deep breath. Use the exhale to completely drop everything into the ground. Relaxing the muscles around the face and the jaw. Relax any effort away from your breath. Keeping the eyelids closed, lift the gaze point towards the center of your forehead. It relaxes the muscles around the eyes. Brings a little bit of space into the brain. Take another deeper round of breath. If they aren't already, then bend the knees again so the feet are on the ground. And take another gentle rock side to side. Roll yourself over to one side. And use the hands to help you press to a comfortable seat. So allow the backs of the hands to rest to the knees, keeping the eyes softly closed for a moment. Just closing your practice, bringing to mind one thing that you can feel grateful for today. Acknowledge something that you like about yourself today. And recognize something that you have gained or released from getting to your yoga mat today. You might have gained walking like John Wayne tomorrow. Bring that to the heart center, closing the palms. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow your head to your hands. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Well done. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Pippa.
Thanks, Janet.